What's up everyone, Technic here. So this is a video that I wanted to make for a very long time, but it's not the way that I wanted to make it. But at the same time, I'm glad that I'm making it this way because this way it'll be more beneficial to everyone. So if you have a PSP or a PlayStation Portable or a PS Vita or a PlayStation Vita, or even a PlayStation TV, because the PS Vita and the PlayStation TV are kind of the same. The meta is a little bit different, but if you ever wanted to put custom firmware on either of these devices, I'm going to show you a very easy step-by-step guide to do it. It's more of a written guide, so I'm not making a video tutorial on how to actually do it, but I will guide you to the right direction, if that makes any sense. It will make sense because I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. So let's go ahead and move over to our computer. So this is a little unconventional for me, but at the same time, like I said, all of this will make sense. So pretty much everyone I know has a Facebook. If you don't, I highly recommend making an account because it's kind of not going to work, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure you can probably find this group in the search bar. So in the search bar of Facebook, you're going to type in PSP, PS Vita hacks and mods, and then go to the search. So as you search that up, you're going to see a group with about 18,000 members. Hopefully the members will grow after this, but you're going to go ahead and go into this group. Now this group is a full community to anyone that wants to put custom firmware on their PS Vita or PS TV or PSPs, PSP Go's, anything like that. That is like kind of the PlayStation handheld, more PlayStation handheld related. So these guys have actually put a full guide together on how to hack, downgrade, or do anything really to your systems. So all you have to do is go into the group and go into the announcements, which they will they will harp on you because it literally says please read before posting, because most of the time in this group you see a lot of people kind of asking a lot of questions, how do I hack my PS Vita, how do I hack my PSP, and they've literally put a step-by-step guide in here. So definitely read the announcements on this page. So they have all kinds of leaks. They have a PSP guides and additional posts. They have topics for it and everything. So link 1, upgrading or downgrading your firmware and installing custom firmware, and making your custom firmware permanent, which if you don't know, for PSPs there's like certain firmwares that will make it into a permanent custom firmware and everything, which is very easy to do, by the way. And then you have a link for creating your own themes for the PSP, which I still am trying to finish my theme so I can kind of show everyone. And you can even they even have like wallpapers for your themes if you want to use one of the wallpapers and everything. And most importantly, they have all the PS Vita guides too. A lot of people now are buying up PS Vitas and PS TVs for the simple fact that it is probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest, handheld to ever come out because of what you can do on it. And I'm talking about like extensively after you put custom firmware on it. There is so much stuff you can do with it, and I will make a video on how much stuff you can actually do on that device. But for now, this is the video. This is the video I'm talking to you guys about today. So you have Vita hack mod info. So they'll basically, the premise of it is usually when you get a PS Vita, the official firmware that it's on is 3.73. That is the last firmware that Sony has released for it. So you can basically put a soft mod on it, which is not temporary or not permanent but temporary custom firmware, to where every time you boot up the Vita you have to go into this application, and then it'll basically put your Vita into a custom firmware mode. And after that, you can do a lot on it, but you can't do everything on it unless you downgrade it to a lower firmware, because most of the applications are made for, or most of the applications and plugins and everything are made for the lower firmware. So if you do want to hack PS Vita or anything like that, or a PS Vita or a PS TV, I highly recommend, and this is my personal experience because this is coming from somebody that has like freaking 8 PS Vitas and like 1 PS TV. I highly recommend that you downgrade it to 3.60 or 3.65 so you can put Enzo on it. And Enzo is the application that will make your custom firmware permanent. And I promise you, you will not run into a whole bunch of headaches that I've seen people run into because their PS Vita is not on permanent custom firmware, or it's not on low firmware, because nothing works for them. Because they chose to stay on 3.73 when in actuality, like, the main premise of it is, like, Adrenaline is an application that is basically a PSP emulator for the PS Vita, and it will not work on 3.73. So this is why I kind of whenever people like come to me when I have to hack their Vitas or whatever, I always downgrade their PS Vitas because I want everything to work for them, like, right when I give it back to them and everything. I'll be doing a video on an SD to Vita setup because I'll be doing that for my buddy tomorrow. So I'm gonna go into some of these leaks so you can kind of see everything. So I'm gonna go into the link that says understanding your applications and everything. So they will literally go step by step with you about, like, what every single application does. Like, you know, SD to Vita, it's basically a micro SD card adapter that you put inside of your game slot, which unfortunately you will be sacrificing your game slot, but at the same time you can put like a 500 gigabyte micro SD card in there and download a whole bunch of games, videos, applications, whatever you want on it. So it's a trade-off, but it's not really a trade-off, because at the same time you can do so much more with it. You know, they have other things like PS VSD allows use of a large micro SD card, memory card with the fat 3G unit that replaces the 3G module. So basically, I can even show y'all the PS Vita that I actually showed in the first part of the video. That is a Wi-Fi 3G model. That is actually the first model PS Vita to come out. So the thing about those models is it has an extra slot for a what's it called, a SIM card. I forgot the name for it. So it's a SIM card from AT&T was essentially put in there, which in my opinion was the worst company to ever go with when it comes to that kind of service, because it was terrible. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I actually used it for a little bit and it is absolutely terrible. But you can actually replace that module with a bigger SD card module, so you can just put an SD card up in there, which is honestly amazing. So me personally, I'll probably never do that to my PS Vita because I kind of like it the way it is. I already have a big SD Vita in there and everything. They even talk about Maduro, which is the application that you will actually use to downgrade your PS Vita, and the steps for it is tedious, and honestly I probably will make a video on that alone, because usually when people use Maduro, it tells you to put a file in a folder. And once you put that file in the folder, and once you your PS Vita kind of resets or whatever, sometimes it creates another folder, and sometimes it kind of messes up the whole entire process, and sometimes that file in the folder gets deleted altogether. Like, it's kind of tedious, especially I've kind of seen it more on 3.71 and above, because of the simple fact that what's called the Ancient Core 2, the temporary custom firmware that everybody puts on like the newer firmware is. It's not as great as like Trinity custom firmware when it came out for like 3.68 through 3.70. So I mean 3.69 through 3.70, but it still gets the job done. It still allows you to downgrade your Vita, and that was kind of the premise of it being created by the official Flow. So he created it for the simple fact that people will be able to downgrade their PS Vita so they can do everything on it. But it kind of goes down the list of every single application that deals with like a PS Vita with custom firmware and everything. So again, this group right here is like your bread and butter when you actually get your PS Vita, or you actually want to put custom firmware on it, or if you're even looking at some PS Vitas or some PSPs, in eBay, Facebook Marketplace, freaking whatever, whatever you're looking for. I highly recommend you go into this group, because there is a lot of, I'm even in this group, so there's a lot of helpful people in this group. There's a big helpful guide that you can follow to actually do all this. So And nobody's gonna steer you in the wrong direction. Like I said, if somebody says the wrong thing in a comment, then there's gonna be like a veteran in there somewhere. It's like, hey, no, don't do that. Like, do it this way, or just follow the step-by-step guide, stuff like that. So it's very crucial that you kind of follow everything to the T. And if need be, I wouldn't mind actually making a video tutorial of me following this guide so I can show y'all that this works and everything, because I've actually personally used this guide to install custom firmware on one of my PS Vita. It was only temporary custom firmware, granted, but I've actually used this guide to install custom firmware on my PS Vita and one of my PSPs. So I'm personally telling you that this stuff works. So yeah, they they have a crap. Like, there's some things that I haven't even tried yet that I do want to try. Like the PS Vita Ultimate Retro Pack, I'm 100% certain that is just chock full of all these classic games that you can put inside of this application called RetroArch. So RetroArch is basically a hub that allows you to play all these classic games, like spanning from the original Nintendo system to like freaking Game Boy Advance. It's kind of crazy. But again, I'll kind of show that off in a later video to kind of show you like what a hacked PS Vita can do and everything. Or you can call it a hacked PS Vita or a hacked PSP, or just a PS Vita or a PSP running custom firmware. It means literally the same thing. So that's kind of all I wanted to talk to y'all about today. And again, when I get my buddy's PS Vita tomorrow, I'll kind of show you what I'm doing as far as like the SD to Vita, like what it actually does and everything. And I will also be following the SD to Vita guide posted up in this group. So stay tuned for that one. But this is Tech Nick. Thank y'all for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.